got videotape, and all of a sudden they don't. You know, you have the director of the FBI on this show saying there's no if there was, nothing you're looking for is on those tapes. Like, what? Why'd they say there was thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible? Why'd they say that?
Well, I mean, so what's interesting is that establishment like libs, right?
Yeah, rad libs, yeah.
Rad libs.
Oh, here we go.
I think the base is stupid.
Here we go.
The rad libs and the Trump team agree about how stupid the MAGA base is.
Yes.
Dude, yeah, you notice how he's talking about Epstein, he's talking about the Trump team. Why did he have to bring the rad libs into it? There was no reason there. Seriously, what is he fucking talking about, bro? It's like, there you go, 𝗙𝗍𝗃 is on the rad libs case. Dude, it's like Encyclopedia Brown kind of shit going on. But again, he had to bring in the Democrats. Now, where's the Biden reference? When are we gonna hear Biden? You know Biden is fucking coming, dude.
Like, so they have both sides have enormous disdain for the Trump voters.
I got
both sides.
news for you, Cenk, okay? Politicians in general have deep disdain for the American people. I think that's pretty clear in the way that they operate.
And guys, to that point, real quick, so two things about Biden. People are going, I don't like it when you bring up Biden. Sad day for you, man. This is about,
we're
talking about what is the American government, right?
I told you.
Because Biden also had a strategy called Trust Biden.
Two things about Biden. Oh my God, bro.
Joe Rogan has officially broken his silence on the Epstein cover-up. He did so on his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, and we should watch more of what he had to say.
Yeah, she said it literally, I think a week before you had the FBI director sitting here telling you there was nothing, right?
She said something about that there was like thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible crimes.
There is. And didn't the FBI dude say that there was nothing?
𝗙cie Patel said there's nothing you're looking for. Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to push back.
Right. No,
I mean,
of course. I
obviously,
understand.
You see what he said there? What am I going to do? Am I going to push back? Right? Like, that's weird, isn't it?
Say that there was nothing?
𝗙cie Patel said there's nothing you're looking for. Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to push back.
Right. No,
I mean,
of course. I understand.
Obviously, he's saying what he has to say.
Right.
Mystery surrounds the Jeffrey Epstein files after Bondi claims tens of thousands of videos. Tens of thousands. Jesus Christ. The comment made to reporters at the White House days after a similar remark to a stranger with a hidden camera raised the stakes for President Donald Trump's administration to prove it has in its possession previously unseen compelling documents. Or
obviously this was before the most recent discoveries, because he had 𝗙cie Patel on before the video came out and all the shit hit the fan, and they went back on the thing. When he interviewed 𝗙cie Patel, that was when 𝗙cie and Dan Bongino were going around saying, hey, look, it wasn't what we said about the conspiracy. He really did kill himself. They were sort of preemptively laying the groundwork for what was to come, which was this announcement that, hey, case closed, sorry, right? But I think the fact that Joe Rogan has the largest platform on the planet and he doesn't ever push back it's a real fucking issue. Right? It's a real issue because not only is he not pushing back on the things that he's talking about, but he is actually creating a climate of like, this is how you do it. Okay? Because everybody models the biggest, most successful platforms. So when the biggest, most successful platform just becomes a place where you can air out nothing but misinformation and nobody ever pushes back, you have created a climate where misinformation is accepted and it's just part of the thing, right? And so that is what is super problematic. It's not even just about the issues. It's about setting the tone for discourse in the podcast community. Like, are we going to push back? Like, when you look at the way journalists used to be, guys, when I was a kid, the journalists were like ferocious, okay? The politicians needed to go on TV because that was their only method to get out there. And the journalists were like the gatekeepers that made them I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to push you in a corner. And now it's not like that. Now it's like the journalists are like, oh, I want to just make sure you'll come back on the show, right? It's like it's turned. And I feel like Rogan has polluted the discourse technique for the podcast scene. And I wish he would rectify that and become more about being responsible for the quality of information that is getting through and using this to debunk and tear down fake shit as opposed to just elevate everything, you know, in order to hit that fucking cash register machine.
Just bomb Iran, and everybody forgets.
Just bomb Iran, yeah.
Everybody forgets about it.
So before I go to you, Cenk, I want to show the audience what they were referring to when they mentioned 𝗏𝗃 Patel. By the way, Rogan's guest is Danny Jones. They're referring to something that FBI Director 𝗏𝗃 Patel stated on Rogan's podcast just last month. So let's take a quick look at that.
There's been like 15 years of people coming in and creating fictions about this that doesn't exist.
See, we should add, I know I cut it off pretty early, but we should add here that 𝗏𝗃 Patel is one of the leading fiction creators. And this is really the crux of this, is 𝗏𝗃 Patel was out there leading the fiction. Clintons, pedos, Pizzagate type shit. Okay, 𝗏𝗃 Patel was, so was Dan Bongino. And so now 𝗏𝗃 Patel's like, oh, there's been a whole lot of fiction out there. But it's like, homie, the only reason you're in the FBI and the only reason you have a following, the only reason you're rich is because of this shit. And so Joe Rogan should have said, well, 𝗏𝗃 Patel, it's funny you would say that because you literally became a millionaire creating this narrative that you are now telling me the opposite of. And so that doesn't really sit well with anybody who's been listening to you. You know?
They're such clowns. Come on, guys. Come on.
Do they think we're all like senators who don't understand how technology works? Like,
Right, like, no, well, I hear it's a series of tubes and you can't figure it out. So look, even, we'll talk about this a little bit later in the show too, but even Candace Owens literally said to the Trump team, do you think we're stupid? Do you think your entire base is full of...
Dude, he loves talking about, Candace Owens. Even Candace Owens said, you know what? I'm with TYT. Even Charlie Kirk said, I fondled Jinky's prostate.
Idiots, and they'll just believe whatever you say.
they do think that.
Well, I mean, so what's interesting is that establishment, like libs, right?
Yeah, rad libs, yeah.
Rad libs.
Oh, here we go.
I think the base is stupid.
Here we go.
The rad libs and the Trump team agree about how stupid the MAGA base is.
Yes.
Dude, yeah, you notice how he's talking about Epstein, he's talking about the Trump team. Why did he have to bring the rad libs into it? There was no reason there, right? He cannot talk about Trump and Epstein, right? He can't. It's like 𝗏𝗃 will fucking shit his little pants right there on the studio stage. He cannot talk about Trump. Dude, the rad libs have nothing to do with this shit, bro. I don't even know who the fucking rad libs are. I mean, maybe that was a band from like Olympia, Washington or some shit. Like, what is 𝗏𝗃 talking about? You know what I'm saying? The rad libs? Like, bro, dude, homie needs to pull his head out of the chicken's ass. Seriously, what is he talking about, bro? It's like, there you go, 𝗏𝗃 is on the rad libs case. Dude, it's like Encyclopedia Brown kind of shit going on. But again, he had to bring in the Democrats. Now, where's the Biden reference? When are we gonna hear Biden? You know Biden is fucking coming, dude.
Like, so they have both sides have enormous disdain for the Trump voters.
I got both news for you, Cenk, okay? Politicians in general have deep disdain for the American people. I think that's pretty clear in the way that they operate.
And guys, to that point, real quick, so two things about Biden. People are going, I don't like it when you bring up Biden. Sad day for you, man. This is about,
I told you!
About what is the American government, right?
I told you!
Because Biden also had a strategy called Trust Biden.
2 things about Biden. Oh my God, bro. Right? Like, dude, what the fuck? He went from Trump and the Epstein files and Rogan to the Rad Libs to 2 things about Biden. Like, what in the actual fuck is going on with these clowns, bro?
And so that was for the bills, and they told progressives, don't, just like Kash Patel in that clip, do you not trust me? I'm saying that there are no tapes. Trust me, bro. And so that's what Biden did too. But that, and they then parlayed that into, now remember when Joe Biden-
Now he's gonna shout out Israel, right? That's the next thing that's coming.
Tells you that he's young and dynamic.
Oh, Biden,
and he's the
young
best
and dynamic
Democrat in the country to run against Trump.
Jesus.
Trust me, bro. You're gonna have to trust me. And the Democratic voters in the beginning trusted him.
And dude, what does this have to do with Trump and Epstein and Joe Rogan? Like nothing,
So they saw
bro.
with their own eyes the debate. And now the Republican voters trusted Trump, but beyond the Republican voters, Joe Rogan and a lot of those guys trusted Trump.
Yes, yep.
But now this is kind of like the Biden debate, where they're seeing him melt down right in front of their eyes on the Epstein files.
Dude, I don't think Joe Rogan trusted Trump. I think Joe Rogan knows Trump is a despicable piece of shit. Joe Rogan even questioned him about the supposed proof he had about the election. Joe Rogan knows Trump is lying. Joe Rogan's just misogynist and a little bit racist and wasn't gonna vote for a fucking black woman. Let's be honest about that. Joe Rogan didn't trust Trump. If anybody knows a goddamn con man, it's fucking Joe Rogan, dude. Homie, it knows a con. Trust me on this. Like, what is he talking about? Dude, Cenk Uygur lives in this fantasy world that is like so, dude, it's like 𝗙𝗍𝗃 just crawled out of the woodwork and is like, oh, Joe Rogan, oh, he's so nice.
And insult their intelligence.
Yeah.
Like the Democrats were insulting Democratic voters' intelligence.
Exactly. I'm glad you added that last part because
Yeah, I'm glad we finally brought this back to how terrible the Democrats are. Anna's like, oh, I'm glad you brought up that last point. I mean, for a second here, I thought we were actually going to talk about Trump and the Epstein scandal, but really, we got to be talking about how terrible the fucking Democrats are. And Anna's next thing is going to be, Ann, while I'm talking about Democrats, can I just tell you how badly I can't stand Gavin Newsom?
anyone in the audience who gets upset at any insulting conversation toward Biden, why are you loyal to a guy who thought you were stupid? Okay, why are you loyal to someone and why do you want to provide cover for someone who was so egotistical, so narcissistic that he decided to run for re-election, thus creating the very situation that we're in at this very moment?
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, most of us have just realized the dude fucked up. We know he fucked us, but he's out of office. So now we've moved on to like the Epstein scandal. Remember that thing you were talking about like an hour ago when you started this fucking journey? Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Okay, no, you should never be loyal to any politician. They're politicians. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, now back to Rogan.
Back to
look,
Rogan.
there was a theory that he was in a cult and he was MAGA and he was a fascist and he was all those things. And that so he was going to just bend the knee to Trump on everything. How's that theory working out for you? So look, people can make all sorts of excuses. They can move every goalpost in the world. Oh no, it's just about immigration. It's just about Abrego Garcia. It's just about mass deportations. It's just about 𝗪𝗏 and Mahmoud Khalil being taken away. It's just about attacking Iran. It's just about Epstein files. Bro, what's left? Okay, and by the way, it's just about adding 3.3 trillion to the debt. So there were things that Trump has done that certainly his base was very happy with. There's things that Trump has done that Rogan and the other guys, I assume, we're happy with, but we haven't seen any of those clips. But I assume it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sure there is. But are they now saying what the F to like a half a dozen super important things he did? Yes, and you're seeing it with your own eyes.
Absolutely.
Dude, I think some voters are definitely gonna have issues with this. I don't think Rogan gives a fuck. I think Rogan's gonna stew on this as long as popular opinion is making a big deal about it. And if the MAGA voters and everybody sweep it under the rug, Rogan will sweep it right under the rug. He's not gonna make a crusade. He's going to take that tax cut money, right? And then What's going to happen is he's going to play the same game in 2028. And yeah, dude, really, I think 𝗙𝗍𝗃𝗽 wants to be on Rogan fairly bad, don't you think? Don't you think he's like angling, trying to get on that show?
It's because those voters that listen to Rogan and Theo Von and Tim Dillon and all those guys, and Andrew Schultz, who's now furious with Trump, right? They're there for the
dude, Andrew Schultz. I have some footage of Andrew Schultz. I got to make that video. He's now furious. Dude, but Andrew Schultz was like, he said he voted for Trump because he got pussy and fucking you could say whatever you want. He wanted his slurs and pussy. And now he's acting like Andrew Schultz is like so mad, so disappointed. I mean, that guy is a scumbag, bro. He is a douche. He's just riding the wave of everybody's mad at Trump. So now he's going to be like, oh my God, I'm so mad. Like, I'm going to hold Trump accountable because I'm going to puff up.
And I don't mean that in some nefarious way if
phony.
you're right-wing, right? I'm just saying, if those guys are mad at Trump because they have at least a populist strand in them, anti-war, anti-corruption, etc. And Epstein files is corruption, right? So, and they certainly are furious about that corruption. Then give them a real alternative. Don't be fake and don't try to trick them, right? Just say, hey, look guys, you want populism? That's what we do on the populist left. That's what Bernie's been about the entire time, right?
They don't want populism. They are mad at Trump because it's hot right now, because his approval rating is in the tank, because everybody's swelling up against him, and the wave right now is like anti-Trump. And that's why they're like that.
And so, and now with, at least with Rebellion PAC, we shed the culture war stuff. There's no
Rebellion
reason,
PAC.
like populistplank.com, those 6 things are supernova popular with everyone, left, right, and middle. So there is a real alternative out there. By the way, mainstream media never covers that. So why it connects to this conversation is when the Rogans of the world begin to turn as they are, take yes for an answer, go talk to them, and invite those voters to the right place where they actually belong. Not with establishment Democrats, not with establishment Republicans, and not with Trump.
Oh yeah, so where is that? If there's no establishment Democrats, no establishment Republicans, no Trump, then the only place left must be Cenk Uyghur's place, right? You're supposed to take those voters over to Cenk Uyghur's house and write a check to Rebellion PAC. Write it out to 𝗙𝗍𝗃𝗽 for fucking $49.99. Look at him, 𝗙𝗍𝗃𝗽. Dude, how did he go from Rogan and Epstein? Dude, that is an 8-minute and 40-second video, guys. Look at this, 8 minutes and 40 seconds. And literally half of that video, a full 4 minutes of that, was about Joe Biden. Like, what in the actual fuck, bro? That is crazy. Yes, you're right. MAGA does not want populism. They want Christian fascism. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.